Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. My, how time flies, huh? April, was it really April? Happy? Was it really April?
It was April.
Okay, we ready for roll call?
We are. Mike Fowler.
Here.
Lawrence Myers. Here. Nicole French.
Here.
Jeff Giuliano. Here. Dee Patel. Susan Johnson.
Here.
Bridget Bennett.
Here.
Nina Kreitler.
Here.
Donna Roush.
Here.
Kelly Fowler.
Here.
Candy Sue Mahurin.
Here.
Laura Oliver.
Here.
We have enough for TTC and
Both.
TAC as
Yeah,
well.
good, good. All right. We have in front of us the last month's minutes. Take a look at those. Oh, did I miss something? Approval of the agenda. Thank you.
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks, Tina. Take a motion for the approval of the minutes from April 19th, when we're ready.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Financial report.
So we'll go to, and we look at the revenue and expense report. Most of our revenues have come in from most of our vendors at this point. We are at $24,133. We budgeted $20,000, so we are running ahead of schedule. Because we do have a number of new Airbnbs that are paying into that tax. So if you look at the description of the transaction page, the bottom line that we have in the account at this point is $71,454.75. So we have not recorded everything on the final spreadsheet page, but you can see where the number is probably going to equal last year's or exceed it by the end of the fiscal year. Any questions?
You mentioned a lot more folks, I guess, that were, businesses that we're collecting from. Any idea what that number is compared to last year?
Not the total number.
Yeah.
Because we're going to look at hotels, motels, the B&Bs and the Airbnbs. I know we've added, just in the last year, probably 5 Airbnbs. We've got one that's in a basement, the others are in individual houses. So it's kind of spread throughout town at this point.
Mm-hmm. Does Sue have, who keeps track of when those get collected? Does Sue keep track of?
Pam keeps track of that.
Pam keeps track of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pam collects.
Maybe if you think about it, maybe for folks just as nothing else as a curiosity, maybe she can give us a this year compared to last year or something like that. Just total number.
Just total number of.
Is that possible?
Yeah, I'm just trying.
I mean, what we've, how many businesses we've collected from versus a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever the case may be. Just kind of show some.
It's like the hotels are going to collect more than
Oh no, I don't mean amount, dollar amount.
Right, you're just talking about the number of collection points.
Yes, number of collection points.
Okay.
Just kind of curious of what kind of how many facilities we're talking about compared to other years.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, not breakdown of dollars or anything.
Right. Pam's on vacation this week, so I won't have it till next week. I'll ask her to put that together and I'll send it
That's
out.
awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
Send out an email.
Any questions on the financials? All right. So we need to approve that. or not? Not the financials. I don't think we do we?
I don't know.
Nope.
No. Financials just.
Yep. Okay. So, yeah, tracking right along on those. I mean, obviously, we'd expect an increase, but it seems like quite a few people in town this summer. Feels like it anyway. Anybody from downtown want to comment on that or have any thoughts on that?
Depends on the day.
Yeah.
Can't really say that it's increased substantially compared
Substantially.
to other years. I mean, it's been so hot, so that kind of kills
Yeah.
traffic, at least at my store. Nobody wants candy on a hot day, so chocolate.
Yeah, actually, the hot days seem to be the key to whether it's going to be very active or not. And unfortunately, with it being hotter this year, you know, it's like our numbers overall are up a little bit from last year.
Sure.
But I think it would be better if we weren't having such a weird
Yeah.
hot summer.
Right.
Last year was a nice spring and early summer. Real nice. All right. Public comments, is that where we are?
Yep. Yep.
And on to old business?
Yes. So the first item up is going to be the website. So we can go through and I'll pull it up on the monitor. Just to let you know where they are. They're working to continue to streamline the content, adding side stories. Tim had talked to Bob Mueller a week and a half ago. They've had troubles trying to connect. So some of the Our Story stuff was going to come from Bob, putting things together, helping Tim write up some stories for St. Genevieve. So they're still working on those. That's why you'll see Latin instead of actual words in certain sections, because they haven't put anything in there yet. Editing all the excerpts. This is the small descriptions that show under the name of the event place and things to do. And where those come from originally is from the original website. If you look there, you'll see we had descriptions on on all the businesses they wanted to collect. That's where I believe the pictures also come from. They're trying to archive all of the outdated news and media content, restructuring the directory page, continue to update the navigation throughout. And when I say directory page, let me go back for a second. That's where the QR code goes to. So just working on that. Interviews continue. Most of the content that's on there is demonstration of the way the page could look. We still have maps that need to go live. Events and booking has not been installed yet. Again, that's when it goes live because it costs. Additional items of consequence, new and notable section for new businesses, events, etc., community calendar, event submissions, booking online, all of that has not gone live. So you don't see that until we turn it on and put it live on the web.
Is any portion of the website live? The new?
No,
None of it.
it's all developmental at this point. Yeah. So I've received, and thank you to everybody who's sent me comments. I've tried to narrow them down some and talk to Tim and Michelle on how to work things. It has changed a little bit, but not a lot, because I wanted this group to meet before we get together, and we're going to sit down again tomorrow and start going through stuff, and also a chance for everybody to look at it, but also for me to learn it. I've looked at it a number of times trying to understand what some people are saying, because everybody has different technology words that they use. Michelle will say one thing, I'm thinking something else, so it gets kind of confusing. So I'm just trying to narrow down what the issues are. And the biggest thing that everybody has said is that there's too many choices across the top, or you don't understand the choices that are across the top. Part of that is to play off of our rack card, because if you notice on the back, that's where all of those listings are. One of the comments I got back is, the rack card can do one thing because it's one way of marketing, but the other thing is that it shouldn't be that way on the website. So where you see the play, stay, getaway, and yesterday stuff, that's what everybody has passed along, that is not the best way to put it on a website, that it needs to be clear. So the play would be things to do, the stay would be lodging, getaway, I haven't figured it out yet. Yesterday, we got that kind of subtitled Our Story, we could just put Our Story out there. And then today is the events calendar, so it would just pop up. Some folks have said they don't like the, except my cookies. They don't like the National Geographic, worried about that being an issue, that we could get sued. So the question is, we could always take the St. Genevieve blue and maybe put it there instead. If you don't like that framing device, then it can be pulled out. So we've already replaced the picture in the back. The first one was a fish. Obviously Shawnette. And then some folks over at FCA caught them while they were doing their, I guess you guys were
That
having
was
one of your
during
days.
French Heritage Festival.
Yep. And this came out great. I thought it was a great representation. So one of the other things too is to put back in our tagline of history is just the beginning. And try to go back and tie that into what we've done previously. So this is a bar that we can put messages in right now because the ferry isn't running. And this is just kind of an explanation. And we get into, again, these can, again, match what's on the card. And they could be different references, different pages, but this was also matching what was up here. And the question was, why be repetitive? So that may be where we pull that out, kind of shrink down what we have. What people say, I don't know where we got them, but we've got them. And they're not made up. It's just, I don't know where they've come from. This was put in just to give quick links to categories that aren't up here. I know one of the things Robbie said was, why not have drop downs? And I kind of agree is, we could put, and I'll show you why, we could put drop down categories in here as well that maybe you don't need something like this if you don't like this. I heard it was too busy.
Yeah. Everybody's used to drop-down menus.
Everybody's used to drop-down menus, and since there's already a little bit of question about what does getaway mean, if you scroll over it and there's a drop-down, you instantly know what it means,
Right.
what the topics are. I kind of like the fact that it matches the rack card, but as they stand on their own without a drop-down, you're not sure what it is.
So would you rather just have me modify that at this point and see if that, instead of switching it all to, like I said, you do, visiting or lodging or that kind of stuff, we could just do drop downs.
Yeah.
It definitely needs an explanation
Yeah.
of what it is, because it's just
So when you-
confusing.
Yeah.
And I also don't think you should trust that people are going to scroll halfway down your page
Right.
to find it listed again.
Exactly.
Because you have like 3 seconds of someone looking at a website before they're like, nope, done, going somewhere else.
Yeah.
So,
And that's
Everybody is
consistent.
used to drop-downs.
But I think one of the issues that I noticed was Getaway had like campgrounds. And wouldn't you think that'd be under stay? I just think I think that's not how we want to set up the website. I think that this is a campaign, but our website needs to be something more permanent. Campaigns kind of come and go, but if we have lodging, restaurants, the more traditional categories, I think,
Your permanent fixture thing.
yeah, I think it makes a lot more sense and it's much more user-friendly.
The idea is to
Otherwise,
make
things
it-
are fuzzy.
I agree. The idea is to make it totally simple. When they pull it up, they can plan their visit very easily without trying to figure out what's what. And I do think you should get rid of the National Geographic thing.
I don't even think it's necessary.
No.
Yeah.
It just looks like we're not creative enough to come up with our own.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs any.
Okay. Let me write that down. I've kind of gotten to the point where we were probably going to take that out anyway, but I'm glad to hear some other folks say the same thing.
Excuse me, where's the tourism guy?
It's a personnel issue, and he's not here right now. So that's all I can really say at this point.
So so you are the point of contact at this point, and you're taking care of,
For the time being,
okay. Well, good, I think you needed something else to do.
because what I did before really worked well, so this will even add on and do things great. All right, so we've also got a section that we would put the festivals, whatever the upcoming large festivals are, that we would include that on the main page.
And how is that determined? It's not just the signature, or what we traditionally call our signature events?
Again, that would be up to tourism director, how he wants to organize that, and put it in there.
Okay.
Right, but like, is there gonna be a form or like qualifications for getting your event highlighted on there, or are we just picking and choosing? Because we have a lot of stuff that goes on, so like, how do we determine what gets put on the main page, how long it stays there? Like, do you have to spend money to get it on there? Like,
and I don't understand, staff can make that decision based on what they think of the size of the event, what the appeal is. One thing we've learned is like our standard ones are be Jour de Fête, the Heritage Festival, Honey Festival, Conapalooza. French Festival. So I would see doing those where, one thing we learned from the, from Chip, Marzuko, thank you.
yeah, it was like, I only know one person named Chip.
The Chip thing,
Chip guy.
we found out that there was a lot of people that were interested that drove Jeeps, and he's decided to maybe expand that. So that's a potential tourism draw as well. So that may end up on there because of the amount of people that are interested in it. Mostly it's UTVs, but this last time apparently it grew with the addition of Jeeps.
Right.
So
It would almost make more sense to have just a current events section, and then you're only updating it once a month. So everything that you have going on for the month of June, or for a 4-week period, that's what would be highlighted. And then you would have your side-to-side arrows so that you could click through those highlighted events for the next 4 weeks. So you could show the summer music series concerts that are coming up. You could have whatever main events you have, and then it's not just one.
So that's what this is. So this is your calendar of events. So it sounds like that needs to go higher on the page, maybe.
Well, it also needs to be a little bit more exciting.
Well, at this point, it is just a filler. It is not live. So that's why, yeah.
I think we might run into an issue if we've got 2 events one weekend, and then somebody's got to make the decision which one gets billing, top billing on the webpage. So I do kind of like Nicole's idea where
Right.
you can see, and then it kind of appeals to everybody in their taste. It's not
Right.
just. It's like
The other
you've got
night
one
when I
thing.
went to the website just to play around, I was looking for a calendar of events that was a drop-down menu so I could see.
Right, it's not live
It's
yet.
not there, right.
No. So with graphic design, you can do that. At this point, we don't have that ability, but we're just looking at one event as a placeholder for that section. So I think if we had multiples, let's say Oktoberfest and Pecanapalooza are on the same weekend, then we probably could split that. And then you would have the 2 different events up there in something featured. So this is like a feature area.
But that's going to be up to staff to stay on top of that. So as soon as this event's over, somebody's got to know to change it and hit the button to make the next one go live.
So is the old St. John website still up?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I think as long as you have a button on there where they can easily click to see what's happening. Here's what's happening this weekend, but click here for all the events. Because people are typically planning more than 1 week out. So, because I like having the feature on the main page, like that stands out.
Yeah.
What happens when you have two in the same weekend?
Then you put them both on there.
What can you do? I mean,
Yeah, sure. You can do whatever you want, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I like that better.
Is this a WordPress site?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Now, so I mean, technically, the day after the Honey Festival, we can get into the system and just turn it off. So this page would just go away, or not page, this section would go away.
Yeah, we've had a lot of, go ahead.
I just have a question. So is someone designated to
Right.
do all your updates? Because I mean, that's a job in itself.
I mean, at this point, it's the tourism director, because he's taken over the responsibility
So
for setting
you,
this up.
for now.
Yeah. And I'm not trained on this, but it's not live. That's the other reason it's not live.
So Happy, aside from the things that are featured at the top, how do people who, or sites, or businesses that have something they want to get on the calendar, what's the system for people so that they can make you aware
Right.
that this is what?
Is there going to be like a form or
Yeah.
something on the website that businesses can go to input their event information? Or do you just have to go to the Welcome Center and tell someone and then hope that they put it in correctly?
So like if I want
form's a great
Pioneer,
idea.
if I want to get Pioneer Day,
Right.
The form is great.
It covers your,
Well, that way, it's on the person who's hosting it,
Yes, and then the
and not
downtown
on the
events.
tourism
Right.
director to
Right.
find out what's going on.
Right.
I mean,
if they can, even if they, even if it wasn't on here right away, if they could come in and get a form,
Some
fill
sort
it
of a
out.
template.
That way, a template,
Right.
all the information's there, they turn it in, that way if
because
anything's
there's the
wrong.
downtown events too,
put
like
that form on that website. And
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, yes.
That would really give a nice structure to it.
It would, yeah.
Yeah.
That way, you're getting the same amount of
yes,
information.
Bricks, you guys have a lot.
Every damn
And
weekend.
Yeah.
like the Missouri Wine website, the State of Missouri Tourism website, I mean, there's like a lot of websites and stuff around Missouri that will let you go in and submit your event. I don't know who sees it, but someone on the other end approves it. And it's a form and it's required information that has to be filled out. And then once it's filled out, that event is put out there, so.
It's also in that rural Missourian that Citizens Electric puts out. You go onto their website and you can get in their calendar of events by.
Yeah, so just go to one of those websites, copy their form, and put it on this one.
Change the name.
Right. Or don't.
So, okay, but yeah, we can put that in the like contact us section or
Yes.
whatever. Yeah, I mean, it can be, we can draft that. Okay,
Or put it on the event page.
Yeah, say submit an event and just have a button.
we can do that, yeah, we can put that
Yeah.
down there.
Because then whoever is in charge of the website, whoever has final approval of it, then they can review all of that. Like, it's not just fill out your form and then it immediately goes live.
Right.
Someone will have to review it and then submit it.
Well, one of the thoughts that we've had is that we would give permission to certain people to be able to do that, because like for Jour de Fête, let them be able to update their information instead of us having them to tell us. Or what usually happens is we hear something and then we have to call 2 or 3 people to find out what's going on, and then we try to find out, and then we get the information, then we put it on the website, then we find out we talked to the wrong person. So, that's one of the things we're trying to get away from, is that where we've been trying to reach out all the time to get information from folks. It's like, if you want it on there, you need to get in touch with us and help us develop it correctly and put it on there correctly, so.
Is that are you talking about for the business description or for?
I mean, it depends on how far we want to go into it. And that would be, a management kind of decision of who do we want to allow to get in and make those changes. I'm thinking like calendar of events. If you've got the major events, people want to be able to get in and make those changes, let them be able to get in, give them limited access, but you give them access to that section that they can get into.
We do that for the chamber page, but a lot of businesses, they still call me to have me update it because they're not familiar with WordPress, so they're afraid they're going to mess something up or whatever.
Yeah.
But
So there's,
they'll still make phone calls.
But at least the burden should be on the business or the event planners to keep their information updated and to let the city know.
Yeah.
I don't think that we don't have the manpower to be tracking people down and getting the updates.
Same thing with the business listings.
Yeah.
The photo for my store is, I don't know how many years old on that website. Like, we haven't had a red door on our store for probably 5-6 years, but that's the photo that's listed. So if there was a way that I could just go in and upload a new photo and then that be posted to my listing, like, that'd be great. But
I would imagine that's a pretty intricate website, like the Visit Mo website, you can have an industry portal and you can change, I can change all my
Yeah.
information, but I would imagine that's probably more money than we want to spend.
Probably so. I don't know if it's built in
Yeah.
that deep, but I know what you're
But
saying.
with WordPress, it's really just like a form sublimation thing, I believe. I mean, we did it for the chamber, and we did not have a big budget, I can tell you that.
Oh, just to submit a form, yeah.
Oh, no, I mean, to up, like, if you were.
Oh, to
a member,
log
you
in
can
and
go
do it.
and
Oh,
change your
okay.
own information. You can change out your pictures, you can change your phone numbers, emails, whatever.
All right, well, then maybe it's possible. I mean,
And if
obviously
you
it's
have like
possible.
a mass sale going on, you can throw in your flyer.
If they could do if they did that for theirs, that might be something to think about, because my biggest concern is just the vast amount of information. If it funnels, if it's going to come down to one or two people, they're going to be inundated.
Because I know with the Show Me Shop, when I went into that, it said make reservations. And I'm like, you don't have to make a reservation to go to the Show Me Shop. So I don't want people to think that. Instead of learn more, like some of the other ones said, to learn more, but
Business design and how you want
it said make reservations, and I'm like,
you didn't know about your after-hours reservation?
Someone's hacked your store.
But I think one of the things about being able to do that, not only putting the responsibility onto the site or the business, sharing the responsibility, I think that would reduce some of the pressure, not just in terms of work, but for the criticism and stuff that the people doing this are going to get. Oh, you left me off, or you did this wrong, or you used a 6-year-old picture. I think, we can do a better job ourselves on coming up with good text and pictures that we think represent us better than what's there on the old website. But also, I think it would end up being much more fair to your folks who are overseeing it.
Okay, anything else on this page?
Can we talk about what I call the word jumble on the right-hand side? I don't think this works at all.
So,
Are they clickable?
yeah.
Oh.
But they're sort of redundant, they're different, they were different fonts, colors, sizes. It looks like it's all one font now, but it's different colors and sizes, and some are hard to read.
So what they've done is they've gone through every business and tagged it with multiple tags, and that's for your SEO portion of your website. So if somebody just or out on the web, if they ask St. Genevieve restaurants, it can pull this website up, and then it will take them to a section like this that talks about food. So in that, you have the ability to create this word, what you call it, a word
I call it a jumble, because it's very unorganized and...
So the idea was it was just kind of a fun thing that people could then click on and
Chaotic.
and look at. Yeah.
Not fun.
I've seen them before, but this one doesn't work. So like, if you click on, at the top, like if you click on like pet friendly.
Right.
You get a list of, say,
takes you to
5
a different
things.
page, right.
Well, then when you search for dog, or you click on dog, you get totally different things that weren't in the drop down, or weren't.
Well, and there were some pages, if you click on those main headers, it will redirect you to a different page. But then whenever I was clicking through, I found a page that I couldn't even get to from the main page. I had to click a link and then it took me there. But then once I went back to the home page, I couldn't figure out how to get back to that page that I was on.
Yeah, so we may have a lost page or two.
And I'm still not sure how some of these places got on pet friendly. Because like the Memorial Cemetery is not. Audubon's maybe for outside dining, but I think we need to be specific with a lot of these.
And why do we have Perryville RV Park on there?
So
You're just over St. John, just get away and go to Perryville. That's what get away means.
So I know-
Get out of town.
I know that looks bad. The thing is, we're trying to work with Perryville on different events. So we've been, just been in discussions with Perryville and what they've got down there.
'Cause
So
we
this is
have
one of the
nowhere to
things he
camp.
wanted to include on there was something that we don't have readily in town. So, I mean, we can pull it off. That's not an issue. It's just also, this is what it looks like. And yeah, we've been trying to work and coordinate with them as well as with other businesses in the hopes that make it more regional. If you can make it more regional, you can pull more people in. So,
Did they pay anything to get in there?
no. Again, it's not live, it's memory.
Okay.
So this is some of the things that we're looking at and going through. But this is one of the things that, again, Jeff was looking at, that we don't have it, let's put it in here. We can pull it out.
So is there a way to have them reorganize the word jumble, or, I mean, it looks like, I think it's a little different than it was, because it was extremely redundant.
I told them to narrow, I didn't tell them. I talked to Michelle, she said I can narrow it down to like 20 choices, 40 choices. I mean, you can cut that down. So what we've done is cut it down to 20. Just as a demonstration. If you don't think it works, we pull it.
I don't think it works.
a lot of
I think there's other things we can do for search engine optimization.
What it tries to show you is what things are tagged the most are going to be the largest. It's the same thing as...
A word cloud, but it's not a word cloud, it's a jumble. If it were a word cloud, that might work. Probably not on, where it's at positioned on this page.
Right.
Look at this card.
I just kind of feel like it's cartoonish, like with the colors and
Some of the colors are very hard to
It doesn't really
read.
go with our colors.
Yeah, and like historic houses, it was one of the things that Robbie pointed out was, Herdish's house is old, but it's not historic. So we still need to go through and clarify some of this.
So you might have already said this before, and maybe I just didn't hear it, but who's designing the website?
JAAD Creative Services.
So they've done these kinds of websites for cities before. It's not like, what's their forte? Is that what they're specialized in, or?
It's websites in general.
And we have a contract with them?
Yeah.
Is there like an ETA of when they're going to be done, or?
We're going to shoot for not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after.
Because July 1st was like a soft deadline.
So that was our grant deadline.
Right.
We've submitted it to the state, and they said, you have a functioning website, clean it up. You have a functioning website. It works. It is up and running, and it's viable. It's just not to where you want to put it out there. Understand that. So you're fine.
Okay.
Keep working on it, and then, let us know.
Okay.
So at this point, they're fine with that. We didn't screw ourselves over, but yeah, we don't want to put this out live because I've been told a number of times from different people, a bad website's worse than just no website at all.
Right.
So we have the original that's still running. We'll just leave it up and running. But I really want to concentrate and get this. I'd like to get it going in a couple of weeks. Now, is that possible? I don't know. I'm not promising. I'd like to, I want to try to push it and get it done because I know they've got other projects to work on as well.
So it'll just it'll get done when it gets done.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's, it's like our water lines. We're not done with the water line on 4th Street yet, and they've got other projects they're working on in between, then they'll be back, and it'll be done in August, roughly. Kind of the same thing.
Not
City
August,
government.
September.
So Happy, sorry to cut you off,
No,
but I
that's
did want to ask, this Dinos and Tigers and Thrills, oh my, and then Play Big at St. Genevieve, is there a way we could, it just seems like more clutter to me. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but it kind of seems like we could streamline this, because you get to this page and that's all you see. You don't even see any options until you scroll and scroll. It feels like a lot of scrolling to get to things.
So these are anchors that will take you down, but if you don't think people are going to know that, Again, what I was thinking of is these could be your drop downs
Yes.
on your page.
So I think that'd be much better. And I think the cutesy and the get your giddy up going or whatever, I'm sorry, but that
Take it off.
is not, I don't think that has anything to do with St. Genevieve. I think that all of that can go away.
There's
And it'd be
such a
much
thing
more
as too
streamlined.
cute.
We probably also don't need to keep changing the color of the fleur-de-lis for every page that we're on.
Okay, so the reason for that, there's a reason, and that's the color it's on the card. So
Okay, but like, what are the chances that someone's going to be holding that card while scrolling through this website and make that connection like, oh, that's why it's green?
so if we make it consistent, what color does it need to be?
What's our town color? Don't we have like a
blue?
It's a gold.
logo color?
Yeah, it's a gold.
A gold, okay. I
Okay.
think it should coordinate with the logo.
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, we all know, I think we all know how much work goes into these things.
Yes.
Okay? And I'm not sure how big of a team worked on this to put this together. Sometimes when you have too big of a team, that doesn't work either. But at the same time, wanting this to go live in a couple weeks and kind of our first time sitting down and going through it, I'm just trying to figure out the best way forward for, for us
I just think
to
it's
help
too
them.
complicated. It just needs to be more simple. It just seems so complicated. And that,
It seems like they're trying to match the card.
Well, there's no doubt. There's
And I
no
don't
doubt.
think-
Yeah.
The card is probably going to change within a year or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just making this too complicated by trying to be like the card.
Yeah.
And the card is designed to change
Yeah.
because it's a campaign. The website is not. That's kind of, I agree with that.
And a lot of this stuff is also demonstration, so we'll go through some of this other stuff. You can just, tell me what you think.
I'm sorry. I don't get it. In my head, I'd like to think I come to these meetings a lot, but I really don't. Where did the card come from?
Jeff put that together. That was when he was first hired, trying to figure out, because we ran out of our old card that Toby had done. I sent you a copy of that in the packet.
It said something about it was looked at by 1,000 people. Do we have any of that information?
We do not.
Do we have any proof it was looked at by 1,000 people?
We do not. But I trust my staff to be honest with me and be honest with this group.
Well, your staff told a lot of us that he was working on the website multiple times, and that's why he couldn't get a hold of it, or we couldn't get a hold of him. I just found out a company was contracted to do it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but he has been working with the company, and he also drew up the initial wireframe, as they call it, on how it was going to be set up. So this is what you're seeing is how he wanted it to, the design that he wanted.
But he is absent a lot. How can he make a website for St. John Tourism when he's rarely ever around doing anything?
I think that's not your decision, mine as a supervisor.
Well, I think I've got some weight as a tourism bureau here.
I'm sorry, but that's in-house. That is staff. He's my employee. I'm responsible
So
for it.
leaders of historic sites in St. John don't get any leeway?
When you get leeway.
We don't get any input? I mean, we were never talking about this. The cards just showed up in like mid to late March.
Right. So you're talking to an individual who hasn't had to work with groups and organizations in this fashion that I've done for 25 years. So I understand how this works. He does not understand how this works, hasn't been involved with this type of group, and it is a learning process. I don't think the card is bad. I think it's good. I think it does represent the city well and for tourism. So I'm not against what he did and how he approached it or how he proceeded. Yes, should have come to the group and done more viewing with this group here to get your input. But he didn't. We're moving on.
Well, we can move on. That's fine. But I agree with what they're saying. I wouldn't model it after the card. The card's not good. I just watched 5 people in front of me discuss it. They've been discussing it for almost 40 minutes.
Is that why we did a redesign and scrapped the old, is because we just ran out of what we had printed, the cards that Toby had done?
I think he was looking for a different different focus of the city, because it's not just the colonial aspect of it.
Right.
We've been working, trying to get more to go, more because of the Missouri dinosaur.
Right, well, that's what Toby spent so long on, redesigning those, like the dinosaur stuff, the tiger, the historic stuff, the water park, all of that was prominently featured. So I just didn't know why we scrapped those after less than a year, but was it just because we were out of print ones and?
Yeah, we were running out.
Okay.
Yeah, so we came up with a new design.
Okay.
But it kind of sounds like no one likes any of the things that relate to the card on the website. So
I think that the colors, the colors, the little, well, no, the little slogans, if you want to call them slogans, I don't know if that's, the dinos and tigers and thrills, things like that. I understand that I think he, where he was going with the theme, playing that off of this. I think that it's probably pretty clear that the group is saying, as successful as a rat card may be, we don't necessarily need to go with that for the theme for our town website. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So we move away from the green and the different colored fleur-de-lis. We go back to our steeple, of our colors and drop downs. The pictures, the content, I like the stuff that's on the page, that's on the website, not the page, the website. I think that he or they are bringing a lot of good stuff into it. Now it's a matter of presentation, right? So, with some input, this doesn't need to match that, and maybe before that goes live, probably need to bring it's more meetings, I get it, but probably need to bring some more folks in on it. But I think
that's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
That's
Yeah, it is.
why these organizations exist.
It is, and that's, so, yeah, I think from what I'm hearing, we need to take a step back on that, and I don't know, I think the changes, the things that you are talking about, I think are pretty easy changes. Change the color of the fleur-de-lis, do drop downs instead of, get rid of the cartoony stuff.
Just simplify it.
Yeah, and so the content, I would think, would still be very appropriate.
So in that vein, do you like these types of headers? So we would stay with these, and this would turn into, you got the story, or do you not like the stories? And again, we go back to these headers for these different sections. Because that's what the drop-downs would do, is it would send you to these sections on a page.
What was the frisbee golf section, like that
Outdoor.
thing? Like it's just like a big frisbee golf taking up the whole thing, like that
Outdoor
kind of-
recreation.
That kind of didn't appeal very much to me.
So some of these pictures are placeholders. We put in what we've got. But yeah.
I think we can definitely get rid of the story. Again, it would make it a lot more streamlined.
Well, if we take the stories and do like on the Our Story page and just include everything there.
Yeah.
I think your tweaking will be easy for the contractor. I think the logistics of the anchors and the links and where it's taking you is where you're going to find it takes more time, and you have to go through it multiple times to, make sure there's no errors on there.
I like how that's laid out. If I'm planning something and I want to see all the events in one spot,
Right.
I think that's nice. Obviously, some of the photos and whatnot can be tweaked, but
Yeah, I wouldn't use that. That kind of says that we always have a bike race going on here, to me.
That was the museum gift shop.
But that can change when
Yeah.
we come off, right?
It can even be on a rotation, it can be
Yeah, the stuff
flip
that-
sliders.
Yeah.
Could be a flip through, yeah.
Yeah.
You can just do, you can highlight all of this things that go on.
Oh, so sensual.
So do you think this type of
Like the massage.
header information should go away as well? or
Show
do
me
you-
shops reservations.
I think that kind of stuff adds to it. You
I
don't?
think it's just more clutter. I mean, people are just like, okay, we need a place to stay. They're not gonna read the schmaltzy stuff.
We're just gonna scroll right past it.
I agree, I scroll
would
right
slow-
past that
I
stuff.
would too.
So in this case, everything is up. So you have to page through it. One of the things we've looked at is there's the one bar that can run it across the side, run it from side to side. We can speed that up. We can shrink this down to 2 rows, and then as you scroll, it will add the rows, so everything will be visible, so you don't have to click on it. So you clicked on one, and to get to the next group,
Yeah,
and it resets that
Yes.
page, and it's like, oh my gosh, yeah.
yeah, that's much better to have it all in one.
So we would pull Perryville off. Hidden Valley told Michelle and Jeff that they had 5 places that people could stay.
Where is that?
Up north, Double D.
I don't see a problem with keeping Perryville on there. I think there's so much need for RV in this area
There's so
that,
much RV traffic, all they did was pick I don't think they're promoting it, I think they picked the
Yeah.
closest place
The
for people to
closest
stay.
places to camp.
I think
People
you
need
should
to
leave
know
it on
that.
there.
I mean, how does that?
I don't have a problem with the RV park on there. It's not like you're advertising Mary Jane's Burgers and Brew in our
Yeah.
in our dining section.
It's gonna.
They'll still come.
If we had a bunch of options, if we had options for them, then you wouldn't put it on there. But if
Right.
we don't have options, why not put the closest
Exactly.
one?
Right.
If they're on our page, even if they book there, they're still coming to St. Genevieve.
And that's the idea, is that you have that option for people to come and
Leave it on there.
No, is it on there? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was like,
But even then, people are thinking,
What are you?
I don't like the color.
In my eyeballs.
They're not classic colors, and I feel like we're a little bit more,
They're very cartoony, I feel like.
but that goes along with that.
That
Once
goes
you get
along
away
with-
from
yeah,
that,
right.
it'll be
Once you get
fine.
away from that, I think
Magic
that
House.
the color theme can be completely changed.
So this is how if you scroll, this is how it works from side to side. And again, this can be sped up, but
Did the other page do that?
No, this is a demonstration.
I know.
Demonstration only.
But that, just on this page is a demonstration of scrolling like that?
Yeah. Do you
So
like
that-
it or do you not? That's kind of what it comes down to.
I like that better than the just like
Yeah,
full
I do too.
page of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I
here
like
are all
that.
your choices.
I like that scrolling
I like
thing.
that better than scrolling down.
Instead of having it where it's,
Yep,
okay. Okay, I mean,
that's
that,
nice.
yeah, that's why we put this
Yes.
on here, was to get some ideas.
That's, oh God.
Yeah.
See, here we've got everything again.
Yeah, no.
And, groups like this, we can just put up because you only have a couple of rows for the art. So it's not a big thing, no reason to put, a
Yeah,
scroll.
but it might be better if it's consistent.
Consistency.
Category to category. Plus,
Yeah.
when you load a page, you don't want to see that scroll bar on the side get like this small to tell you that that page is this long. Like, nope, back to the home page. Let's try again. And if you make all of those categories scrolling categories, then that'll shorten your page.
I like all of it
Instead of just
scrolling
like,
side to side.
here's 40 options.
It's easier on your eyes.
Okay, yeah.
Also makes it kinetic,
Yeah.
doesn't movement.
And if you passed it up, you can wait for it to come back around again.
And then what does that say? It's just like a blurb about each thing?
Yeah.
That would,
And then you read more, when you get to more details. So if we want to look at more from Cave,
Does that take you to their
Well,
site?
why would we want to do that? Just kidding, Laura.
can we check the
She
spelling?
wants to go back to the show me shop.
I'm sure that'll all be sweet.
We got a little time with the
What's it say
spelling.
about that?
I'll be on the horn to somebody.
Okay, great.
Reservations only. Show me shop.
Because they obviously know how to spell vineyard, because it's spelled
It's
together.
spelled everybody else.
Yours
Sounds like the right
Yeah, it's spelled right there, but it's not spelled right there.
Yeah.
Show me what.
In fact, we haven't found them all. So we also have wineries that are in St. Francis County. So is that,
Leave them.
again, we think that it then creates more of a group.
Yeah.
It's all part of the
People wanna
same
come
wine
to.
country.
Yeah. Okay. Thank goodness this is being recorded so I can go back and remember all that.
Yeah, because you're probably missing all this like side conversation too, so.
Which is a good thing.
All right, so historic houses, we'll go through and kind of clean this up a little bit, but I think it covers, again, what was on from the previous website. And this was something that we got from Bob Mueller. So, but again, you're saying don't do this because it clutters up the page.
I think that could go on our story.
Yeah, I think it could be on its own page for the people that want to read.
Right. Right. So, and again, when we only have these that we need to worry about, we'll just put what we've got in there. And the other pages where if you scroll down, it expands. So there's only 5 to begin with, but when you move down, then it puts all of the listings available. So we can change that. And then today it's just the calendar, which doesn't work at this point.
Strange. Hey, Happy. On the inclusion of various sites or businesses that are outside of St. Genevieve County, I understand the rationale of trying to, give a bigger picture of why, and you can use St. Genevieve as the center for it. But had there been any consideration given to charging some kind of a fee to sites that are outside of the county?
Not at this point, we didn't consider that. We're just trying to create something that attracts visitors.
Okay.
That's what in that case, we've got it on our maps. We've already had that for years, where it's got all the different wineries.
Is this website going to have ads on it at all? No. Oh, okay.
I just don't have enough people to go out and sell ads.
Well, you just have a form. Fill out a form. Send me your money. There's your ad.
Thank you. So no, we haven't considered that. I mean, if we decide to expand, if we get more of a group of people or groups that are outside that want to do that, we can consider.
I would respectfully ask that you consider that.
Yeah.
Generating income is not a bad idea.
No, I agree.
Just like ads.
Just like that.
I mean, you could only have like 4 spaces for ads on your website. It doesn't have to be loaded down with ads because people hate websites loaded down with ads, but it'd be a good way for somebody to advertise whatever event if they wanted to have more, be featured more prominently.
Right.
Have a little scrolling bar or whatever, and like that's your ad space.
There you go.
You're in
Comments?
charge of that.
$3,000. Gotta take my commission.
So that's what we have on there. What are we missing? Besides needing to go through all the businesses and kind of clean all that up. I mean, that's,
Right.
but again, those are
Better
pictures we've
photos.
had, and, we're taking pictures as we go along, trying to, include them, but it's not a fast process.
Chop, chop, happy.
2 weeks?
Yeah. And then 2 weeks later, Menards does that. Your order will be here in 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks later, your order will be here in 2 weeks.
So I think I've got at least great comments on what to get off of there, on there, how to move things around, kind of clean it up, and then we can go from there.
There's the box.
Yeah, lose the box.
I like the bot.
Change the homepage picture completely.
Say goodbye to the bot. Okay.
Bye, Nat Geo.
Are you going to resend it out to us for a review?
Whenever we get to that point. Yeah, it's got to,
Before you go live?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I just need to get it.
That's my next question.
Yeah, everybody get a copy. Put a link to it.
Good.
Yep.
And we're sticking with the accent on the third E in
I
St.
mean, that's
Genevieve.
technically correct.
Okay, but we're going to make sure it's consistent throughout the website.
Yeah. Because I don't recognize, I hate to say it, I'll look right over it.
Yeah.
So,
That's why you got us.
there you go. That's like Canadian. That's like
Quality
Canadian.
control is here to let you know when it's wrong.
Then I had to go looking for it again. What's that Canadian stuff?
Canadian, yes. EA, whatever.
Okay. So that is the website. Thank you all for the feedback. And again, I hope I remember everything that everybody has said and we get things cleared up because we are having a conference call tomorrow about it. So we'll start. With the link you still have, you should see some changes in the next week or so. The stuff we've talked about. But yeah, I'll send another link out whenever we get to a point where I think
Yeah,
everybody's taking a look at it.
if you want to flip us that again, that link, that'd be good whenever you're ready for that.
All right, and then I understand everybody's upset about the rack card, the new rack card that we got, and some changes that we could probably make. We discussed some of these at the last meeting. Last meeting or the meeting before? Last meeting. So we were going to, I sent you what that was, but I also sent you the one that Toby had made up. Because when we do run down, we're down to 2 boxes of them at this point.
Okay.
So they're all distributed out to the various visitor centers that we work with CTM on. They haven't said that they're low on anything yet, so we've still got enough out there. But if we're going to jump on, at some point, new rack cards, then do we want to stay with that style? And we can make some changes to it? We want to correct some of the language on the back, like no more tomahawk throwing. We're going to change that to axe. All abilities playground. That's one of the things that we didn't have on the website that was pointed out, is we don't have a playground on there. Get rid of small villages under the stay. Get rid of healing under getaway. Look at getting rid of the trolley under yesterday. We need to figure out a spot to put the trolley because it's not on the website either. Then put the state historic site in there. Holiday, trying to, family celebrations, add that to celebrations. But otherwise, I haven't had a lot of feedback on it, on what changes, if there's multiple changes that you want to make. Or again, you have a wholesale redo, and that would be for the next iteration. When we run out of these cards, because I don't want to spend money, but I don't have to.
I think we're losing the history. I mean,
I was going to
I
say, it
agree.
seems very family forward, which if that's where we're headed, then that's...
There's a magnifying glass on it.
See, and that's where I disagreed with the 1,000 people were polled, and like 97% of them are coming for the wineries. I don't think it's all history, but I think it's a lot more than it was given credit for. And it kind of got pushed, the historical stuff just kind of got pushed aside. And the whole reason we're a national park is because of the historic sites. But then, there are reasons, people do come for the wineries, absolutely. But,
Well, I agree with the whole history thing, though, too, Laura, because it's showcasing the dinosaurs and all that stuff, and it says we're the oldest permanent settlement, but there's nothing else that elaborates on the history of
Right.
that. So,
and then when you're going to put America's newest national historical park on there, it's just language, there's nothing,
There's a lot of fonts.
yeah, there's a lot of fonts. I was thinking the same thing, too.
yeah.
And if we stick with this clip art, can we straighten out the bed? I've never stayed in any of the places here in town.
The floor in my loft of my cabin is a little sloped.
Maybe that's the international symbol of sleeping.
Level it out.
But we are going to use.
That's exactly, it's a wino's bed.
It is very art,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's very kind of hokey.
I don't like those little boxes. I never
But
have.
I have to agree with the fonts. There's
I think that one of the, the history piece of our town, that's everything.
It is.
Okay, it is. However, the objective, at least that I heard him say for this,
Right,
was to get people to town.
right.
Once they're in town, they go, wow, we didn't know you had all this. So,
But if you don't like
Can I
dinosaurs.
interject?
Yeah.
Give me that card for a second.
For the card.
If I am seeing this card like this on a rack,
it makes you pull it.
I mean, I'm a mother,
no,
I have
no.
children, but no, it doesn't. It does not make me pull it because I don't have kids that are interested in dinosaurs at that age.
No, it's like if
So
you
I would never pick this up.
So what would you pick? What would you
Yeah,
pick
you need
up?
something up there, because this does not
Yeah,
attract anybody.
I don't know, but I wouldn't pick-
the historic home isn't going to make you pick it up, even though I think the historic homes is what, again, this town is, it's what it's founded on. It's why we have a levy, for goodness
Probably-
sakes, is to protect, and that's why we have a national park. However, the picture of a historic home at the top of your rack card I don't think, bring people
No,
to
but
town.
probably wine or shopping would definitely make me pick
Okay,
it up.
okay.
And probably make most women
Something
pick it
food
up.
and shopping related, and who's
Yes.
planning it?
Plus,
Women, the women
plus
are.
who's got the money? Older people.
So,
No.
right, so again, it goes back to what's going to make them pull it. Once they pull it, then you go, okay, now what are we going to put on here to make them go, oh, I didn't know you had that, and that, but what's going to make them pull it?
Yeah.
I think that's where he was trying to go with it.
I get the concept, but I think it's more geared toward families that
It
have
is.
small children.
Yeah, the colors, the pictures, yes.
Who aren't necessarily in the shops and the restaurants. They're going to the water park and the museum.
At the
Right.
Welcome Center waiting.
And that's
for
it.
their-
And
then
maybe
they're
a
gonna come
tour
back.
historic homes, but.
And they might come back
Yeah.
later as just each other.
Yes.
If nothing else, you both said earlier, campaign. It was a campaign, great. Been there, done that, now what? You know what I'm saying? And now we can go for something else, but,
why can't we
it was
do
different.
two?
I was going to say, like,
Multiple rack cards
Or
where
even-
some are geared towards.
Well, and even the front and back, like, you've got your front on this one, okay, this attracts a certain crowd, so why doesn't the back,
Attracted.
why aren't we
Yeah,
paying
instead of
more
having all
attention to
that
the back?
stuff.
Because then you could load the same card 2 ways
Right.
into a rack card holder.
Yep.
You've
know, the
got
community
2
center does that.
chances to get people to pull
Do
it.
they?
The community
I think
center
in my
has
rack
the community
cards,
center
one's
stuff
got
on
the
one
school,
side,
one's
and then
got
when you
cabin.
flip it over, and the water park's on the other.
So do the rack card people allow you to take up more than one spot
I don't know.
along the highway? Where the rack cards are?
Probably not.
Or at least this would get them, at least something on the front would get them to pull it. Then when you turn it over, you're getting the other.
You mean you can't take this card on the front, and you can't put all this and get rid of all this
Right.
in the front, and then on this
And in
back
the
side?
back, you're featuring something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Completely different.
Right, I
Then
agree. I
just
agree
have
to
them
that. I'm
sit
just
this
saying
way,
that you
and
might not be able to put them
this way.
both in the rack card is all.
Well, you just kind of spread, you shove it in the cards and stick them in there.
I think you can.
No, but I think you'd use it in different locations.
You would.
I mean, most of the time, this is on the highway. So this is people that are traveling, and most likely are families.
No.
So you could do this type of again, I want to get rid of the St. Genevieve and try to put something up there that's appealing, but if you want to put this in other places that you think would be more appealing to the adults that want to see that, then yeah, then you can just flip it around and do it that way.
Do we still have the contract with the companies that put our rack cards in, like hotel lobbies and stuff?
Yeah.
CTM.
Is it hotel lobby? CTM's who it
That's who
is.
does it
yeah.
along the
Yeah.
highways.
I know it's along the highways. I guess that's, I'm not.
I thought the ones that were doing that in the hotel I thought it was Madden print or something. I could be wrong.
CTM had-
It's been a long time, though.
Well, there was two areas that they were doing. One was on the highways, and we continued that. Then we did away with the central St. Louis ones. And that was in like the,
That was like a
Hotel lobbies.
2020
Yeah,
COVID
that was
decision.
COVID
yeah,
response.
yeah,
Decided to just focus on highways instead of
Yeah.
hotels.
yeah. Hotels and the Science Center and Magic House and wherever else they have their rack.
Yeah, let's put these rack cards at the Magic House, that'd be great.
Those would be.
Science Center, the Magic House.
But with CTM, you can't really give them
No.
two different kinds.
Yeah, right.
Here's our rack
We all
card,
have a vehicle.
you're
We can
putting
just
it in all the places that we're contracted to have them in.
Right.
But if it was two-sided, couldn't we ask them to display one side at certain areas and the other side at certain areas?
We can ask, I don't know.
I mean, it's the same card essentially. It's just the way that they actually put it in the rack. Oops, sorry,
give them
I
a
thought I would
20.
put it the other way. You know, I mean,
It may be too much to ask, 'cause it's like, well, here we want this, but, you know, getting too
What's that,
specific.
just
but
send them a
be
whole
kinda
stack that's
general.
shuffled.
Yeah, just mix them up.
We can do that, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess like in the last meeting, one of the questions I had that I don't think was answered was like, when we look at the tourists coming into town, like how are they bucketed from families with young children to, you know, senior citizens or retired couples to younger couples?
You mean, how is it
without-
tracked?
Not how's it tracked, but who are they? And what are those buckets? Because then you can target, like, which buckets are you wanting to target? This obviously targets the families with children. What are the other buckets? So that you can design the card.
Who are we succeeding with, who are we not succeeding with?
Who's coming to town?
Yeah.
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 And who do you want to attract to town, right? So-
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Who's coming to town, but who do you want to come in town?
Well, and this relates to a question that I had that, and I'm not, this is not one of those where it's leading up to, I've got a brilliant answer, I have no idea. That it feels like we are doing designs and making decisions based on a limited amount of information. That a lot of it is, well, my impression is, but there has to be some kind of more of a system to get some feedback from the potential customer and the actual customer and do some testing. And this again gets into kind of the thing, I'm simply throwing this out, I have no answer. It's probably something that involves some kind of consultant or consultancy, and I know that costs money, and money is always an issue. But it's like, you know, where we're talking about the idea of, well, what picture would represent the history and unique character of St. John? Why is this a special place that is not like any place else? And what image would represent that? Yeah, an old house would just be another old house to most people. So the obvious test is you get some different pictures that you think would work and you test it with people. And if with key things we could try to find that, as well as, I think, sharing with each other more of the information about how we're doing and who's coming in and what the demographics are, again, that we're succeeding with or that we're not seeing, that there needs to be more research and testing with how we're doing this and what's going into it. And a good place to be might be as simple as that thing about, here's some pictures, which one of these say to you and would attract you to come see a really special historic place that's like no place else.
Is there like a postcard size, real simple question there that we could put in like every business that people could answer and put in a Dropbox and you could collect it in every business and we put it all together and then you could at least kind of get who's going into, I mean, restaurants, shops, Airbnbs, hotels, whatever. I mean, why did you come to, just a few questions. How did you find out about St. Genevieve? Why did you come to town? What is your age group?
Where are you
Do you have
from?
kids? Yeah, just about 5 simple questions. postcard size, they're in everybody's business, people can fill it out, drop it in a box, we all turn them in to you or whatever, and that would kind of like be a real simple questionnaire for people to do.
And what would be the goal of that? Because that sounds to me like it's a lot of man hours, person hours, excuse me, be a little more PC, and a lot of work just to, I mean, if
But
it
we
is going
just
to
don't
figure
have
out.
anything to go of at all. I mean, as to, like what Jeff said, how do we know why, how did they find out? Why are they here? What age group is
mean,
here?
that's
How are
the-
we going to find this out? We can't
Isn't that
hire a
something they used
consulting
to do at
firm.
the
At the Welcome Center, they would collect that information,
Yeah.
and I don't know how
Yeah,
much
but
of
not
that.
everybody even
if
goes to the
anybody's
Welcome
doing that.
Center. Young
Yeah.
people don't go to the Welcome
They do
Center.
if they have to.
But what are you doing with the information?
Right.
When you
It
get
just seems like a lot of work, but, so what is our goal, and how are we going to get a whole bunch of businesses in town to encourage people to do this?
Just, I don't know, I was just trying to think of a way to try to collect information, and that would all have to go to a central place, but
I think we're coming up with a lot of things that are really good for long-term, but until we kind of have an idea of,
now we don't
I
even
feel like
have
we've got a
anybody
lot
at
of
the Welcome
projects
Center.
already, and we need to kind of focus and figure out what we're going to do. Do we think we need more to make a decision in the next 3 months, the next 6 months?
Well, budget will be, we're putting money in for more rack cards.
Right.
So when we need them, then,
Just
you know,
feels like
we
we
can start
gotta
developing
guess
it
about
now, but we don't have to worry about it yet.
Okay, so we have some time with the rack cards to figure out what we want
Is
to
this
do.
stuff working or not?
Right.
Well, definitely.
Which I understand, but again, with our situation with having practically no staff right now, I don't know that this is a great time.
We don't even have anyone in the Welcome Center except Jan on Saturdays, is that correct?
So Fridays and Saturdays.
Friday, 2 days a week.
No, but I think you could also, when you have limited resources, one of the ultimate responsibilities that go with that is to say, is this working? Are we spending a lot of money printing cards that aren't working? So, yeah, it is a longer-term solution or a longer-term concept. But, you know, it's like one other thing I'll throw out about, not to change the subject, but yeah, I agree, longer-term thing, something to keep thinking about and looking for answers. But something about that damn rat card, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. I've gotten feedback from folks connected with the Learning Center, although they're glad that, you know, dinosaurs are at the top of the rat card. But would you know how many?
They don't have a T-Rex?
They don't have a T-Rex. And especially, you know, little kids come, oh, dinosaurs, and they're happy. But the older kids,
The card has a T-Rex.
where's the T-Rex? Please kill the T-Rex.
I would just make the suggestion, Happy, that maybe you just form a very small committee to help give you input on this, because this is, I mean, they're all great ideas, but we're kind of just gonna get off topic a little bit on some of it, and he's probably like, I don't even know where to go with this at this point.
Well, I mean, we
It's
meet
input
quarterly,
start.
we're not gonna,
That's what I'm
we meet
saying.
quarterly, yeah, we're giving some great feedback, but
But
we're not
if you
gonna,
have
we're
a
not gonna, meeting quarterly isn't gonna build a rat card on the
But if you have
website.
a small group of people who are working on the red
Yeah.
card and then bring it
Yeah,
back to the
totally,
group for
yeah.
additional feedback,
Yeah,
that might be a better route.
A subcommittee.
Yeah, I think it's just important to know who you're targeting. Like, you know, you'll know if it's working or not, you know, based on feedback from your stores without doing like a full study right away since it's long-term. But you do have to know who you're targeting when you design anything, so I think it's just important to choose who you want to target with the next one.
And I think what you have to look at with this card is, you know, Jeff's new to town, so he's looking at it from somebody that's brand new to the area. We're looking at it as, you know, been here a while, kind of know where everything is, know what everything is. So his view is a little different. So you're going to have that incorporated into the card like it is. So. And at the time we were developing this, there was the big push on the Learning Center. I mean, they had just announced on public, you know, and we were getting airplay all over the place with the new Missouri dinosaur. So,
International news.
yeah.
I guess it's just a little confusing, some of the different icons that were prominently featured on there. Like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna throw shade on Amanda, but like she got honey and a bee, and I mean, you guys, you do a lot with honey and stuff, but the candy store's been in town for over 30 years, so like, where's my candy logo? Like, it just felt a little targeted for some people, and then others, it's like, nah, whatever, they're there.
And Nicole,
You'll find them.
I think you missed the last meeting, but
Yeah, I was in the
somebody
board, please.
asked about that, and basically Jeff said, well, it's like a little Easter egg, and when we develop the website, it'll make sense, which I never saw it on the website. So I think it really now does not make sense that it's on the rec card.
All right, so, you got input, we keep moving along. So we're not here till 10. So let's move to the budget, which also goes into the visitor profile study. So I have given some, well, we have our yearly costs that I've included, and then I have proposed amounts that I don't think we spent any of the extras that we had put in here for any of the festivals or print media or that, but I also, we're looking at website maintenance, we're going to have to do that. And I've also included a walking tour app possibility and a visitor profile study. And the reason I put those in there is the MPD grants from the state, of course, they're on a different budget year than we are, so it screws me up every time. And I'm learning the schedule now. They're all due at the end of June. Our budget isn't good until October. I can't get to the group and say, let's do this. So what I'm putting these in here for is either they put a grant request outside of the regular yearly grant request, or we catch it next year, and then we work it into well, for us, it would just be in our budget, but we would be able to utilize the state's funding, the extra grant funding that they have, if we have this already budgeted. Then we don't have to worry about anything else. So I've got the walking tour app, which is what everybody has asked about, trying to get QR codes so people can scan it, get a little information about a house or about a business, just a little background. We don't want to give them everything. Don't want to give them the full tour. We just want to give them, highlights. So I have no idea who I'm going to look for on that yet, but there are going to be companies out there that will jump at it. And this year, we heard from Madden Media about a visitor profile study, going back to what Jeff was talking about. So this is done, it's hard to explain. So you've got paperwork in there, kind of talks about it. Understanding who your destination visitors are. So you get deeper insights. They pull this information from people's, I know you're going to be shocked about this, from your phones and the apps that you have on your phones. So this is proprietary information. The state is working with Madden to bring this to Missouri at a cost of about $15,000 per city, or DMO. It's not per city, because a lot of cities don't have the DMO like we have here. So what you can learn, what's in it for you on the second page is learn more about who's visiting your destination, geographic focus, 4 key reports. It is all correlated, put on a dashboard, and we can look that stuff up.
Cool.
We would then be able to know who's coming to town.
That's awesome.
Right. So when this came across my desk, it's like, well, I don't have $15,000. So, and we could get $5,000 as a match from the state. So when this comes around again, and again, sometimes the Division of Tourism will put a grant call back out in the middle of the year because they aren't using all their funds. So if that would happen, we might be able to jump on this and then they would designate St. Genevieve County, and we would have then information about St. Genevieve County. It would be the whole county that we would get information on. So if you're interested, we can put that in the budget. You'll notice that our revenue projection is less than our budget. However, as we discussed earlier, we have $74,000 in our budget. It's time to start spending a little bit of that on some some of the things that I think we need. And that's one of the things I think we need.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says right here, sign up now, or I'm writing my name on it.
Yeah, well, and that was fine. They weren't upset. Said next time this comes back around, again, wait to see what the state does for the MPD program. And we'll put in for it then. It's nice to offset some of that cost.
You said countywide?
Yeah.
Did you talk to any commissioners about it at all?
No, because I knew we weren't at a point of
Yeah. No, I
being
think
able
it
to
seems like
submit for it yet. And
seems like a really-
I think for us, we can show the commitment at this point. They show the
Right.
commitment on the
At the time.
billboards.
Yeah, yeah.
So Abby, on the 15,000, it's 15,000 with a $5,000 grant, or is it 10,000 with a $5,000 match?
Well, my feeling is that it's not going to be, they've thought, so this go around 15,000. I think it's going to be fewer DMOs that use it the next time.
Okay.
So the cost is going to go up. I want to budget for that.
Okay.
But we would have $5,000 in grant. If it's not, then yeah, we'll just spend 10,000.
Okay.
Happy? One thing I'm wondering about, Major, but am I correct, I'm not seeing anything about billboards on this? Billboards are done after this year?
Yeah. I mean, if
Okay.
you want to, that's what we go through this. If you want to do more billboards, if you want to look at doing something along those lines, we can budget it in there.
Okay. No.
Will we have any numbers based off of the billboards that he has currently now
That's what I was
on
wondering.
Yeah.
to make a decision?
What we'll have is impressions, but it'll be based on what the traffic is. I mean, not actual impressions, but what kind of traffic they have. We do a yearly report, we'll have that included in there.
May I ask one more question related to the billboards? A question that's come up for a lot of sites, particularly ones putting together events. It's been unclear, and we've gotten different answers about what is involved in getting your event
Right.
done as a
How do you get your information on the
onto the billboard.
Right.
Because we had been told, oh, yeah, your French festival or Conapalooza or whatever can get featured for a short while on the billboard. But what the process was, and if there was an exchange of actual money that was involved, different people seem to be getting different answers, or there wasn't good communication going on. If that could be clarified, if we've still got the billboards for the rest of the year, it's an opportunity, especially for, there's some key events coming up that may attract people, but we need to know how we get the information onto the billboards.
It's like a two-step process in getting the information and then having to design it.
Okay, but then is there also money payment involved?
Is there a fee?
No.
A fee?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We haven't determined that because we are also looking at, we just got an agreement, an official agreement put together to be able to do that. Because you're looking at, if we're going to commit doing that, then we probably will want something in return. Don't know what that cost, price, what anything on that is at this point.
Okay, but you'll let us know?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you're still interested in doing something along those lines, yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be logical. The other question I've got on this is, I notice there are festivals, Jour de Fête and French Heritage, etc., 2,000. So there are grants available to special events and festivals?
This group wanted to have some discretionary money to spend for different events based on whatever. They were going to make those decisions. That was what we put in last year's budget. That's what we're putting in next year's budget. I won't make that final decision. This group has said that they want to make those final decisions. But yes, the idea is that we would have money in there to help boost.
This group, when was that decision made?
2 meetings ago.
Okay, so
And that's also what the public comments are, right? I mean, if somebody's looking for if somebody's looking for some dollars out of this budget.
Okay, so again, it comes back to structure and procedures. If there's a way that events could, or event organizers could apply, put in an application, and then the group could consider it, that seems like that would be a fair way of approaching it, if there is going to be money there.
Right.
Wasn't this all discussed because of like the Christmas festival a couple of times? Yeah, because she gets a certain amount of money for.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Which
what I
was,
thought.
well, we had certain funding that we were putting in there. Now, Christmas Festival was one of them, but
Right.
we had other monies for, we'd asked what you wanted to do with that, and then it was like, well, let's combine it and make it discretionary. But we don't have a mechanism for, as Jeff said, to come in and
Apply for that.
apply for that. Because we were talking about also helping with the festivals and that, and this group shut that down. So, or I'm sorry, TTC shut it down. So we aren't doing that kind of stuff, but we do have money in there available. I wanted to try to make that available because of it has to be an attraction or an event that's going to bring people in. It can't just be something local where you're doing something just to promote just your business. It has to be something that is going to attract enough outside visitors where it makes it worthwhile for tourism to help sponsor, not really help sponsor, but help.
So let's say there was a forum, there could be a question about how will your event benefit the community as a whole, blah, 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 something like that.
Or how many visitors do you expect?
Yeah, good basic one.
Yeah. Which is the same thing that we do it's on the same application that we do for the festival permit. It's got that on there. It's like how many people do you expect?
Yeah.
Or the street closure. What's your estimate?
And Happy on their website, maintenance, is that through the current company? The maintenance, will they maintain it as
Either
well?
them or we'll hire somebody to do that, but
Do they offer it?
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the $5,000 for maintenance, is to potentially pay someone to do that or give that money to the company we're already in a contract with?
If we decide to use them, so other cities that I've been with websites, and you'll probably have the same thing, you all are experienced in that. We usually stay with the same company because they know that website and can maintain it a lot easier than trying to bring somebody else in to learn it. Now, WordPress may be easier than maybe easier to know for other companies to come in, but I would say we'd stay with the same company.
What is the visitor's guide?
Visitors guide.
Those are those fold-out big print things that you've probably never seen because they don't get distributed.
So the map.
The big detailed thing. Like, we used to get them delivered around to our shops and things,
A
but,
trifold, was it a trifold?
yeah, it was a trifold, but then it opened up and it was a big
like a big
thing.
map.
I
Yeah.
have like 20 of them hoarded at my office. I don't know. Because I can't get them anymore.
The last 20 left.
$5.
On eBay.
There's your guy. It's out of date, don't worry about it.
What we found out with that, they're great. We've been trying to redo the map, but they're out of print, or they're out of date the moment we print them, because
Right.
the businesses keep changing.
Yeah.
So the idea was, and again, we've gotten into the website, the idea was to try to create something that you could scan and get it on your phone, and then you could, get the updated information. We didn't have to have everybody taping little labels over the new businesses that were going in. So it's like,
Well, even the
Just
walking map
really-
helps, because my customers want something in their hand. I mean, a lot of my customers aren't going to do the QR code.
We still need a map of some sort.
so we have,
That's probably what I make the most copies of at my office, is just the map. They
Right.
don't want all the other stuff, they just want the walking map.
so we've got a PDF of that, of the map that Toby had come up with. I mean, I can just get that distributed
That
out.
needs to be like on a tear off for people.
We
really
did that for
does.
a while. It was
Yeah,
nice.
those were nice.
And they went like that.
Yes.
And so instead of visitor guides, I'd say we'd be better off investing that money in the tear off map.
And those are probably, if we did it on with just regular bond paper, that'd be a printing cost probably, and we could still,
I think they're fairly, should be.
But people, I have them in my shop, they take them, I have them in my B&B, they take them, and they'll be like, now where am I on this map? So they're still important.
yeah, so, and we'll put a headline on there saying, this map may not be updated, or these locations may not be updated.
We're not responsible for the sites on this map.
Like that, yeah.
Sorry.
If you're going to do that, you need another $1,000 for printing, bring it up to closer to the 40.
Yep, yep, that's
I
a
mean,
good
if you want
idea.
to put it there?
But you know, if it was done on a less highly polished printing and, you know, well, then every quarter you could do an updated version if you just,
It needs to be on paper that you can write on, for sure.
Just a map.
So,
Not a
regular-
gloss.
Yep.
You can do regular bond paper.
I like
Yeah,
the, I like
well,
the
that's all I got in my
tear-off
shop now, and that's
But
good
not a
enough.
glossy
I just
Right.
circle my number
Right.
and say, this is where you
know.
are.
Oh, they don't care about that for this type of product. They
But
don't
some
care.
people do write on it, you know
No,
what I'm saying?
yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying it doesn't need to be,
Yeah,
it
'cause
doesn't
I
need to
just
be,
make the
yeah.
copies at my office.
Your costs are going to come down probably tremendously if you have the tear-off ones and make them simple.
That's just a big print job. It's like 1,000, 2,000 copies. That's, get your
But it
cost
sounds
down.
like that's what they
Yeah,
still,
and I think it's important, because I think the map is important.
It is important.
Never even thought about those types of maps. That's a good idea. Okay.
so go to,
I'm telling you how many, I can't even tell you how many times I make a copy of a map and just, I mean, I can't keep them on my shelf.
That's good.
add 1,600 to your printing.
So,
Bring it to 40 and we'll, bring it to
Yeah.
40,000 even and we'll be,
okay, so 2,600.
right.
All right.
So then what, you looking for approval on this?
Yes. This would be the TTC members that would be voting on it.
Any other inputs from everyone? TTC then, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Approval of the,
So what did you just change? You changed something on there.
so the visitor guide slash map,
Right.
right?
Yep. Yep.
Happy.
Bigger map. So it was 1,000 yearly, it's 2,600 now.
Just to bring this.
And just to make, yes, and just to make sure that the title, we're talking about 2023, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah,
And I know what the budget was, you see what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. And copy for
Just so we
last
know, we're voting on the fiscal 2023 budget. Okay,
Yep.
all right, so,
Motion?
yes, please.
I make a motion to approve it.
Second?
All right, let's do a roll call. Mike Fowler,
Yes.
Lawrence Myers,
Yes.
Nicole French,
Yeah.
Jeff Giuliano,
yep.
4-0. Passes.
Okay.
Makes my life easier.
Other business, anybody have any other topics? Not to prolong this, but I'm going to circle back real quick to something somebody mentioned earlier about the staffing at the Welcome Center, or whatever we're calling it nowadays.
Yeah.
No. So can we update everyone on what it is? Because I don't know. I mean, I heard something a while ago with being staffed on Fridays, Saturdays.
So we had 3 staff members. We had somebody leave that just worked Sundays. She went to work at Mississippi Lime.
Okay.
So we handed that over to the National Park Service, because eventually this building becomes theirs. So in between time, we had 2 other employees that resigned. This is about 6 months after that. So at this point, we're not looking to fill those positions, because again, we handed it over to the National Park Service to let them oversee the visitors that were coming in. We have a kiosk in there still. We had one employee who said she wanted to stay. It's like, well, at this point, we're not ready to restaff it. Would you like to work Fridays and Saturdays? And she said she'd love to. So she's there those days. The rest of the time, it's staffed by the Park Service.
Who does not promote the town whatsoever.
No, I hate to be negative, but I get complaints all the
Me
time.
too.
Now,
I'm getting
from
major
people coming
ones.
in saying, is there another welcome center?
Yeah.
Because they won't tell us anything.
Right. Yeah, I get complaints almost on a daily basis that they can't get any information. They will not talk to them about it, and some of you being said they're rude.
And people think the state is them sometimes, and we take the heat. And so we try to give them as much information as we can.
So we have discussed this with their supervisors, and we're hoping to see a change in with their staff, not in their staff, but with their staff. And that is one of the issues that has been brought up and has been taken to the Park Service, that this is a complaint that we're getting, and we're hoping to see the change, but it's not us that's then responsible, it is the Park Service.
But I don't know that they're ever going to promote things.
No, they're not.
Matter of fact, they're not supposed
That's what
to,
they're not,
right?
yeah.
Well, they can hand out and say, here, these are the places that you can go. I mean, are we,
But they don't.
Is there, is it even an option to have some sort of just very small storefront that is literally just in existence to give out information? Like, I know Dina's at her office, but there's probably a lot of visitors that come that don't know to go to the chamber office to get information about town.
So our tourism role has significantly increased lately.
Yeah.
The problem that we're having is that our building is not handicap accessible.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times they call me outside and I'll go down there and I ask them what they need, and then I go back in and get it, and then I bring it back to them, especially the elderly.
Right.
But our foot traffic for tourism has, I mean, I can't even, those maps, I literally printed 100 maps probably about 2 months ago, and I'm down to like 3. Just because they can't get the map anywhere.
Right.
And so no one at the Welcome Center is helping them, and so they naturally just come to the chamber, or they come to FCA.
So where's that?
Or just the shops.
Or just the shops, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that print cost coming from?
Us, I mean, I just literally just take the map and the chambers, we're just printing the colored maps and handing them out. But it used to not, I would maybe give out, I don't know, 20 a month maybe. And now, I mean, I am just reprinting that map over and over and over again. It's insane.
Well, I think this goes
That's
back
why
to the
I called you, 'cause I didn't know
importance of
what was
having those maps.
Like, what's going on?
And that they're available to everybody, every site, so we can do that thing that we've been trying to do of cross-promoting to each other. Well, you've seen this, you've seen our part of the story, you'd like to go over to Felix Valley and see the next chapter in the story. Here's the map. And
That's why events are so nice, because so many events now have some sort of a map to go along with the event, whether it's the Spooktacular or the Honey Festival or something. There's a map of town, so then when people come in and they're like, where is this?
But
You can be like,
without
"Oh, well,
without a specific location or some place for
Right.
people to go to.
And your normal first thought is, that says Welcome Center.
Welcome Center, or information booth, or whatever you want to call it, right? That says Welcome Center.
Kind of the
Then
funny
take the
thing,
sign off the building, because we all know that whenever they cut the budget, that was what was going to happen.
Right.
But kind of also too, like, when I do have people come to the chamber, I'm like, oh, have you been? And they're like, don't say it. They cut me off before I can even say, have you been to the Welcome Center?
Yeah.
I mean, they are automatically cut me off and say, I've been there, it was not helpful, I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
And I
Was that
also,
the original understanding that the park would hand
Take
out
over,
information about?
Yeah, because they've got the maps and, you know, the stuff that we've had there. But I don't think I think what they have to steer clear from is promoting
can't
anything in
promote.
particular because of the
So they don't
federal
promote anything
government.
at all, other than their tree.
But I don't believe they're handing out material.
Yeah, I mean, I sent a young man in with a flyer, and
I don't know
he
that.
just was
I
going
didn't know
nuts.
that.
He said, I want to hang
It's
this
gonna-
flyer, and they go, well, why the hell not?
it's a shame that with the status that we have now, that we are hearing that many complaints from people coming to this town.
Yep.
There's nowhere for them to
Yeah.
call to get information on
Right.
anything.
Right.
now, my understanding from their leadership is that there is space that ultimately could be or should be, or they were expecting to be used for rack cards of everything in the city and a video monitor rotating different attractions and events. It's just obviously not a priority for them, and probably not arguably their responsibility. That perhaps it comes down to, if it's not working, it's our responsibility to go ahead and say, give us a space, we'll fill it, we'll put materials there, and
It's there. It exists now. So they gave us a nice little kiosk desk that we haven't labeled yet. That's one of our projects. TV's, there's rack cards.
the TV is up now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I got rid of my Roku, so I don't have any way to play pictures on the thing. So,
But people still want a human to talk to.
Right. I'm
That's what's up.
especially elderly, because I don't
They
know how
wanna
many
talk to somebody.
seniors have come in my shop and they're like, I just asked for a map and they said, we're not, we you know, and he said they were very rude to me. I mean, very upset. I've had people-
I don't think that, but to be clear, in my opinion, I don't think this is a park issue at all. I don't think it's their job.
No, it's not the.
We need a welcome
it's the city's
center.
job.
Right, we need our welcome
We need a
center.
welcome center.
Or we need an information booth or something like
Yes,
that.
and someone to man it 7 days a week.
And when
Happy,
you,
if you give me more money, I'll hire somebody, and let me tell you, I'll put in a ramp or something. I mean, I agree, it is a welcome center. I think
well,
there has to be a welcome center.
it just didn't take long to start seeing the effects of certain city budget cuts.
Right.
Yeah.
Leave it at that. Didn't take long at all.
And if we're not going to make money off tourism, how are we going to make money?
Anyway,
And they won't want to come back if they're not treated right.
I think they thought the volunteers were going to come out of the woodwork, because that was mentioned at so many meetings.
Yeah, you can't pay people to work.
Well, the volunteers are going to man it, really.
Yeah, well, actually, Jeff had asked us about providing volunteers, and I just, especially having lost some people and then increasing our hours, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it would be great, but volunteers are of limited reliability.
Yeah.
Not even that.
well, I'll take this argument back to the board.
I mean,
It's up to us, and then we're working on budget now, so we
Yeah.
can budget that in there. But,
there's just been a significant difference in downtown from our visitors. There's been a significant difference since there's been such big cutbacks. Period.
Well, people are actually coming in and complaining.
Yeah.
I mean, I never got complaints
Me either.
before.
Right.
Now they come in
Well,
and
because
say,
where do
"What's
tour
going
groups
on?"
go when they get to town? Where do they go? There's no starting point really, is there?
Well, they can go to the Welcome Center, they do have the film there, they can, not like today, the DAR ladies were
Right.
going to start there, and then they got there and the film
Are they
wasn't
still
running.
doing the riverboat stuff? Are people, riverboat tours still coming to town?
yeah.
Where
were
do they
here-
start?
They were here during the French Festival.
Where do they start?
That was Princess, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That is something that they determine.
Okay, so they already have an agenda mapped out before they
Yes.
come to town. So
Yeah,
they're going to
like-
start
like when
with
Brian-
you and then go to Donna and then go to.
Yeah, I think they're on a schedule. I think
Okay.
it's more of,
Is ready to start a year and a half or two ago. A Viking official came to town, went around, mapped out what he's going to offer to his people. There is also, there is a overall function of the Welcome Center that it does have the film. They're going to update the film eventually, I think. But the fact it's got restrooms, it's at a central point, it's
Right.
not a bad place to start.
Right.
No, we all think it's a great place to start.
Yeah.
And you get the people to town, we're doing all of this stuff, these campaigns, these rack cards and everything, to get them to town, and then they get here,
if they don't have a good experience
and they get
out of the house.
mistreated, or
And
they
then
don't,
they go to the
they're
website
lost.
and they click on get away because
Yeah.
they're just over it.
All
Are
right,
we
well,
keeping that, or are we going to change that word?
They're changing all of
Yeah,
it.
Okay.
They're doing drop down.
It doesn't say go away.
Happy, can you go over that with us again?
It's on video. so-
Make a motion to, no, I'm joking, to close. Oh, gosh.
A second.
Okay, thanks you all. A lot of information tonight from Happy. Really appreciate all of your work.